This time on Roadkill, the Impala's gonna run 11s. Surprise! We'll see a conversation with every single episode where we're just hashing out what we want to do, and generally that becomes like what's most fun for us. Yes! Got it! And this time we had an opportunity to go to a half-mile drag race in Arizona. We're like, oh man, this is gonna be cool, but what car should we bring? And we're talking about it, and Finnegan really wants to bring the Rotsun, which we just brought back to life with a 5-liter V8 and a turbo in our last episode. And I wanted to bring the Impala. And he's like, you seriously think the Impala's faster than the Rotsun? I'm like, yeah, I think it could be.
I hate the Impala. I don't want to drive the Impala. It's a death trap. But I will race the Impala. So we are going to line up both of these cars at a drag strip and then at a longer half-mile course at an airport. And we're going to find out once and for all which is the faster car.
This is a '69 Chevy Impala with a blown big block Chevy. And if you saw episode 60, you know that we tore a stock 350 out of this thing and installed the engine from the Crusher Camaro from a long time ago. And we threw it together in 2.5 days, and we skipped a lot of steps. So I have a lot to do here. Primarily, the alternator. This thing ran without a charging system last time. Got to change the oil. The other biggie is that we got to get this thing spinning both rear tires. It's a one-legger right now, so I'm going to throw in some 342s and a posi. I'm going to put mufflers on it because I drove the thing to San Diego with open headers last time. And a bunch of little stuff, like the lights don't work, it needs shocks so that I don't die, probably gauges, and I think I'm gonna put the hood on this thing. So I have a lot more to do than Finnegan.
As with most things on Roadkill, I'm going to be fixing things that we probably shouldn't have broken in the first place. Like the torrential downpour of motor oil that exits the hater pipe and lands on the windshield. We at one point had an electric scavenge pump that sucked the oil out of the turbo and put it back in the pan. We lost that. So I need that again, so I'll be buying another one.
We've had rat poop cars before, but this thing is epic. Look at that. It is disgusting. Full hantavirus. Oh, I don't even want to breathe it. Oh, this reminds me of when I was a kid and never cleaned out my hamster's cage. Blech.
Lots of history with the Rotsun here. You first saw this in 2014 in episode 26 of Roadkill. It had a 4.3-liter V6 taken from a Chevy S10 and a 5-speed. We took a turbo off of a Ford Power Stroke diesel pickup and made our own turbo kit. And this car was a rocket for a short amount of time. For the next several years, all we did was break it. We were so sick of the engine that we literally took it out of the car and beat it to death. Since then, in the last episode, you know that we bought a couple of Fox-body Mustangs, took the drivetrain out of one, put it in the Rotsun, which fits remarkably well, and kept the turbo. And this thing now is unbelievably fast.
Oh, dude! Oh, wow!
And dangerous. It still handles poorly. The aerodynamics are worse than they ever have been because half of the body is gone. I'm genuinely frightened to take this thing half-mile roll racing. So we're gonna have to address a few of these issues before I put the pedal to the metal.
Wasted. Complete junk. It's not coming off. Something over here. It's still caught. Got it? Okay. Whew. All right. This is the old radiator out of the Crusher Camaro. We butchered it into the Impala for this last episode. But the thing is, surprisingly enough, the Camaro radiator is wider than the Impala radiator, or at least the Crusher radiator was wider than the Impala will take. And I want to put the hood back on, so this isn't going to work, and the ratchet straps are butch, so I'm going to put a new Griffin radiator in this thing. Some of that's hitting the bucket. Ratchet straps are like the next level of zip ties, if you really think about it. Oh, look at this fancy radiator adapter here. That is genuine gaffer tape wrapped around to create a spacer. Yeah, the fan kind of went bad. Check this out. Wrecking my nice aluminum radiator. The most well-known horrible thing we did to this car is we ran the thing last time with no charging system at all. Couldn't go more than a few miles without having to change the battery. It was a pain in the neck. I searched and searched trying to find an alternative bracket that would work for this thing without having to deal with the header and dealing with the short water pump and the blower drive and everything. I called this company called Black Mountain, and the guy, Ron, owns the place, is a Roadkill fan. He was like, I know exactly what you're doing. And so I'll go ahead and take my really nice billet piece and just fog it black for you and send it on its way, which is exactly what he did.
I realized that if I could raise the carburetor up about a ½ inch more, that would raise the charge tube up about a ½ inch more and allow me to leave more of the hood intact.
Can it go on the pin?
Mm-hmm. Lower the front down a little, there you go.
It's way better.
Yeah, right?
Yep.
Shop manager Kalen found our old scavenge pump, which we thought we had lost, and apparently we didn't. So I can put this in the car, and this will suck the oil that's feeding into the turbo, back out of the turbo, and put it back in the motor, thus stopping the whole make it rain thing on the windshield.
Ooh, it's tight. If that radiator cap doesn't hit the hood, it'll be perfect.
The best part about working on a car like this is everything's so bent. There's really no wrong way to line it up and install it. Just the fact that it's back on there means it's perfect.
Oh, it looks way better. And with the new chin spoiler.
Put the wing on it and the hatch, go get it dyno tuned, ready to race.
Be way ahead of me. The downside of gaff tape is a radiator hose spacer. There's so many things we do that you should never do at home. It's kind of ridiculous.
This is the last piece of the Rotsun puzzle. I bolt this onto that hatch tomorrow morning, and then it's off to West Tech to make sure this is not going to explode during our race. Yeah, I'm done here.
This thing was just wallowing so badly that I felt like getting some shocks for it, even if they are like super cheapies. I have to admit I've got trepidation about running this thing because I think it could go 140 miles an hour in a ½ mile. It's sort of a wild guess. That's kind of scary. But I'll have the Monroe Magnum protecting me, right? Or whatever this is. Monroe Matic. Okay, list. Filter, fuses. I'm gonna say lights work is probably gonna be optional. Hood, optional. Steering wheel nut, I would like to consider that not optional. When it comes down to it, we have proven exhaust system is optional. The real biggies tomorrow are going to be putting the rear end back in the car and installing a complete exhaust system. Everything else is just stuff. I think the Rotsun has a significant advantage today.
You're right, I'm gonna go dyno tune this
Right.
and make it run perfect.
And meanwhile, I'm so far behind on the Impala. Lucky came in to save my life. I have a long list of stuff to do, including get the rear end back of the car, get the exhaust system on there, and fiddle with just a whole bunch of tiny things. But it's keeping me from getting the Impala done, and so you're gonna run this thing out to West Tech and dyno tune it, which there's a lot of power left in this thing.
I think so.
We don't know where the timing is, and wasn't it running at like 10 to 1 off the charts on the gauge?
Yeah, yeah.
Don't blow it up on the dyno. Don't blow it up at the drag strip. Go ahead and blow it up at the ½ mile. I'm okay with Glory. Yeah. Yeah, what if the spoiler's crooked and aerodynamically you end up steering yourself off track?
Have you seen the alignment on this car?
Maybe this will counteract the alignment. It'll go perfectly straight. I have legitimate fear of the Rotsun now.
Because it has a wing?
Yeah, that's what took me right over the edge. Oh, you know what? We have to weigh these things. We can probably do that at Tucson, because I'm dying to know. It's power to weight ratio. How close are the two cars?
I actually never started the car since I started working on it again, so this may or may not work right now. It fired right up.
Finnegan got all the work done on the Rotsun, and so he gets to go out to West Tech and put his car on the chassis dyno.
Oh, it sounds so good.
There you go. Do you need help? Good. Okay. Wow, that was easy.
Whew, I'm exhausted. Break time.
Our 12-bolt rear end is back. I had them put 342 gears in it, and it's got, I think, an Eaton limited slip. Frank at South Bay 4x4 made this happen overnight, which was super, super rad. How are we gonna do this? You wanna lower the car onto it or put this onto the screw jacks?
Well, you hold it up and I'll put the bolts in.
Okay, I got it. Ready?
Pass, lower the car.
Tony could have done it.
Oh yeah. So we'll lower it and then put the top ones in, and then lift the car back up.
Yep.
And then use the screw jacks.
Good call. Done.
Okay, lift the car.
So anyone here from Finnegan? Do you have any idea about the horsepower?
Nope, haven't heard a word.
Wait, you meant, do you know if he made it out there?
That's a better question.
I'm here at West Tech Performance. We've strapped the Rotsun to the dyno to find out how much power does it make, how much can it make, and how do we prevent it from splitting the engine block in half. And as usual, it arrived here not quite ready to go. As you can see, Ish has already torn the motor apart to fix things that we screwed up, and I'll blame lack of sleep on this while we were working on it back at our place. That made 482 pound-feet of torque at the tires. Very first pull. Lots of tuning left to do. It put almost 500 pound-feet of torque to the tires. Now this is 302 cubic inches with a turbo robbed from a giant Ford Power Stroke diesel engine. David has, I think, 465 cubic inches with a roots blower on top of it, and I know that thing is a legit 650 horsepower motor, but it's in a land yacht. And we're not done here. So by the end of this dyno session, I'll make the same power he's making in a car that weighs nothing.
So we got this whole junk bolted together. We're gonna drop the thing down on jack stands, and only then are we gonna tighten up all of the bolts so we don't bind a bushing. Then we gotta bleed the brakes and make an exhaust system. Wow, big moment. We're down to the point of rolling it off the lift, and it's just tiny stuff. Throw a tack in it, water in the radiator. What? This could be the first time in the history of Roadkill I crossed every item off the list, and you know why? Lucky and Kalen.
This works out great.
Yeah?
Lucky and Kalen.
When it sucks?
I don't know. Somebody else.
Freiburger Finnegan deal.
Freiburger Finnegan deal, yeah.
It is on like Donkey Kong. We are done dyno tuning, and we have 500 pound-feet of torque to the back tires. Do you know how light this car is? It's gonna be a rocket. Freiburger is in so much trouble. Good night, Rotsun.
It's as done as it's gonna get, which is really, really far done thanks to Kalen and Lucky. And so we're gonna fire it up. Ready? Nice. Look at this. First time in Roadkill history, every single item marked off the list. That's what happens when you bring in help. Finnegan won't tell me what horsepower it made today. I doubt he'll ever tell me, and so he's leaving me in the lurch. But you know what? It wins.
Well, it's road trip day. My car's ready. Let's see if Dave's is. Oh, he put the hood on it. Very nice. Well, did you bring 6 batteries or does it charge itself?
It charges, full 14 volts.
Wow. We can go to West Tech. My car's ready, obviously. there is a small window of opportunity maybe for you to put this on the dyno. And I hesitate to even say that, but that's what a generous guy I am.
That would be really good because I'm not feeling good about that. So fortunately, we were able to get in here at West Tech for just a second to run this thing probably once, maybe twice, just make sure it's safe. I really kind of don't want to know how it's going to do compared to the Rotsun. It's not looking good for me.
Are you seriously going to drive this for a half a mile at wide open throttle?
No, I don't think so.
Because I was just going to say you're f***ing crazy.
I know.
I mean, that's just something you read about in the magazine in the tribute category. I wouldn't drive this boat at wide open throttle for an eighth of a mile.
I would say incredibly disappointing on power, but we know that it's running at like 11.5 to 1 at wide open throttle, which means it's safe. But it also means I've got plenty of opportunity to change pulleys around to actually do something. I didn't even see the torque number. It made 414 horsepower at the tire, which is lame. What?
You don't want to look at the torque.
Yeah, it's lame. It's incredibly lame. I think the problem is the blower's worn out. It's barely making any boost. I mean, I'm talking like 1 to 2 PSI. That's not enough to overcome the frictional drag of the blower itself. So, got some work to do if I'm gonna come anywhere near the Rotsun. That thing would have to be broken in half for me to do well at this point.
He just took the big wuss pulley off of the supercharger, which had about 61 teeth on it. And he's now putting one that has 49 teeth on it. Not the move I would have made. I would have gone right to 42, the littlest one you could find. So the question is, did he already do this in there and tune the motor for the little pulley and then switch it back and then come back out here and switch it again in front of me just to trip me out? Or is he really that psycho and running the little pulley on the street for no good reason? Why he's doing this now is beyond me. But he's shady. You never know with this guy.
Mike's over there getting competitive, isn't he? He's over there like freaking out, thinking I'm like stepping up my power, which I am, but the problem is I'm stepping it up to probably less than the Rotsun is making. It's so pathetic. The problem with what I'm doing here is putting the smaller pulley on the top spins the blower faster and maybe it'll make more boost, but the downside is that even on the highway, it's gonna beat the air more by spinning the blower faster and heat the air more, which eats power, which also will make this thing overheat even more. So it's just a bad scenario all the way around.
And he's back on the dyno again. I knew it. I like the commitment here.
I got real lucky because Eric here at West Tech was able to fit me in and is helping me out a lot on the tune-up because we have a bunch of problems. This blower is so completely worn out that it's not making any boost. We had to change the blower ratio. It's only making 4 pounds. And now we're struggling with the fact that I think it's running out of fuel. We're feeding the thing with a Holly Black pump at 1/3/8 fuel line, and it's not making that much power. It's only making like 550, which is super lame. At the end of the day here at West Tech, I still don't know what Finnegan made, but comparatively, I have a feeling it's way better than what I did. It's probably more heroic. The problem here is that my blower is completely wasted. The Teflon strips on the rotors aren't sealing anymore, and I've only got 4 pounds of boost. And that means I'm making 465 horsepower to the tires and 514 pound-feet of torque, which might sound okay to some of you, but honestly, for a blown big block Chevy, even as tame as this one is with a tiny cam and stuff, it's pretty lame. Probably not enough to outrun the Rotsun. But the worst part of all of that is now we have to drive to Tucson so that we can be at the drag strip in the morning and find out in the real world what these things really do.
Up a little bit differently and we were all good. And then it broke down again, which was just a loose alternator mount. And finally we hit the road to Tucson Dragway. But we only made it about halfway. We're gonna stop and spend the night in Blythe, California and hit it again in the morning.
So we got 3.5 hours to Tucson. Think it'll make it?
Oh yeah, eventually. Tuesday.
Okay.
Maybe
Tucson
Wednesday.
Dragway, here we come. That was a record for breakage. See this? Sunk afloat. Won't start.
Oh,
So hit it with a rock or actually take the air cleaner off.
that's really hard to get off that air cleaner.
Got a rock?
You got tools in the trunk, we could hit it with a hammer or something.
This is a flashback to the very first episode of Roadkill where I was smashing on that Pontiac Catalina carburetor in the middle of nowhere. This is maybe a little more high-end than that. Okay. I think we're there. So this thing has developed a pretty good shake. I can't tell if it's the road or the Impala. Whoa!
I'm not getting anywhere near that.
That is bad.
Dude, imagine if you had been on the drag strip.
Oh, I know. When we were broken down on the side of the road, a fan stopped by and he immediately hooked us up with a cool alignment shop who was going to save the day. Next up, the Impala started idling really badly, and I looked into it, and it turned out that it had blown out the gasket in between the supercharger and the intake manifold. We ended up in the hotel parking lot at night and had to pull the entire blower off the engine to fix the gasket with gaff tape. And that sets us up perfectly for tomorrow when we're finally going to race these things at Tucson Dragway. We're at Tucson Dragway, where we were supposed to be yesterday and completely didn't make it, but they were very cool. They opened up this morning at 6:30 right now. We can run till 9:30.
That's not bad, 3 hours.
I'm legit stoked on this. You know what? The whole keeping the secret from each other has been like the greatest thing to me, because it's like I'm driving down the road, like watching your car. You haven't been romping on it as much as you normally would.
I've sandbagged, I will admit.
Oh, you've been sandbagging?
I have been sandbagging.
I figured that you were just saving it.
I was.
I have a suspicion of something I think might be wrong with it.
It was a sandbag / save trip for me.
Okay.
Let me show you something.
Oh, that is bad.
Yeah, that should not happen.
And you're gonna put drag radials on this?
That there, I believe, has come unbolted, which has happened to us before, even though we've Loctited it before.
Uh-huh.
You may be going solo today. I'm gonna take it apart with whatever tools I can find around here, but...
So we drove all the way here knowing you weren't gonna be able to run it?
No, this started last night.
Oh, okay.
No, we drove all the way here with me knowing something else that I'm not gonna tell you yet, just in case I can fix this.
Well, can I guess the something else?
Sure.
I think you don't have third gear.
Oh no, I have third gear.
Do you have second gear?
I have all the gears.
I assumed from watching you drive the thing around that you had broken third gear on the dyno.
No.
I really did. So you're not gonna tell me the other one?
No, not yet. Not yet. Because you don't know if it's good or bad, the thing I'm holding back. And I'd like to keep holding that back. This is gonna be interesting.
We're about to find out half the information I'm dying to know. Weight and horsepower.
Would you wager I weigh half as much?
Nope. I'm gonna guess that the Impala's 4,300 pounds, and I'm gonna guess that your junk is 2,500 pounds.
You out of the car, the Impala is 4,600 pounds, and Rotsun is 2,700.
Okay, so you said 4,600, I said 4,200. Ready to pull it on?
Yeah. 4,168 pounds.
So I was only off by 30 pounds.
That's way lighter than I thought it would be for a blown motor in a land yacht.
Yep.
Wow.
And the Rotsun is, are you gonna be really annoyed that I guessed both cars dead nuts? 2566.
Wow. Good for me. Lighter than I thought it was gonna be.
Now, if you could only take it down the drag strip, it'd be really impressive.
Yeah.
So the Impala is making 460 horsepower at the rear wheels, which is so lame, and 510 plus pound-feet of torque. Is that enough to overcome the 1,700 pound weight difference, even knowing that this thing has way more area under the curve? I don't think so. But now I've got to get into Finnegan's head and wonder what he's thinking about my program and what his strategy is. He always accuses me of like cheating and being devious and stuff like that. And he knows that I threw a smaller pulley on the thing. He probably thinks that I pushed this to its limit. And he thinks that engine made 500 horsepower to the tire and the crusher, which it did. What he's not counting on is that blower being completely wasted. I hope that his strategy is to go as hard as he can, thinking I'm making a ton of power, because that'll make the Rotsun either break or lose traction.
Well, so far so good. Not totally wadded up. I might get to race. And the race is gonna be interesting because now I know Dave's car weighs roughly 4,200 pounds. And that engine, when it was in the Crusher Camaro, made about 525 horsepower to the tires, and I'm 1,500 pounds lighter, which means this should accelerate harder. But the problem with this car is because it has an independent rear suspension and weak axles, I can't hole shot this thing with a lot of horsepower. Otherwise, if the tires grip, it's just gonna destroy the stub axles on this thing. So, does my light weight make up for the fact that I can't leave with max power? Yes. Yes, I think I win. If I can fix this and go racing.
Were there supposed to be nuts on the back side of those? Yeah, they have nuts on the back and they're missing. That's all it is. You didn't need to take that apart.
Oh, that's good news.
Yeah. We have about an hour left of track time. They've got another event that's coming in here. We got to be gone. I don't know if Finnegan's going to get that thing fixed or not. This has been the most ridiculously difficult slick installation ever. With that little eeny-meeny jack, and the slick won't fit without dropping the rear end, so I had to take the shock off. It's just like one thing after another. What the good news is about Tucson Dragway? They know us. This surprises them not in the least, and they're super cool. They've got another event going on here, actual points meet, but they're gonna let us try and run in between rounds. And so the pressure's off, but we're probably only gonna get one, maybe two passes. Good news, we just figured out how to put a CB joint back together after we dropped all the ball bearings out of it.
You can go buy a Honda now.
Yeah, no.
The games of smoke and mirrors are over, and it's time for tire smoke. It's the Rotsun versus the Impala, the turbo small block Ford versus the blown big block Chevy, and Freiburger versus Finnegan.
Than I thought it would. Wowee! Unfortunately, it doesn't pull that good going down the track. Woo! Apparently the weak point is not the rear end, it's the charge tube, because it just blew it completely apart. Well, that felt real solid on the launch, and I thought weak going down the track. It wasn't RPMing as fast as I wanted it to. And of course now it's hot. And we're gonna go again because something was wrong with the Datsun. But at least the Impala scored a first victory.
I guess plastic tubing with no bead at the end of it is no match for 6 pounds of boost. It's gonna be one of those days for the Rotsun. Still the best day at work ever.
This thing's fast for complete garbage.
Well, that was over fast. I think it either broke the input shaft on the trans or it broke something in the driveline, because all I heard was bang and it stopped moving, and you can push the car with it in gear, so that's never good. Rotsun has let us down again.
Impala wins! Basically because Finnegan broke. I knew it was my only chance, especially when we found out each other's power numbers. This is crazy. The Rotsun, at 6 pounds of boost, made 493 pound-feet and 429 horsepower to the wheels, and it only weighs 2,500 pounds. Meanwhile, the Impala only made 460 horsepower. But you know what? 1185 out of that barge, I'm declaring a win, even if he did break. Oh, and that thing that Finnegan was holding back on me, it turns out he did the math, and that Subaru rear end that we've got in the Rotsun, it has a 390-to-1 gear ratio in it. And he knew he was never gonna have the RPM out of that engine to actually run that full half-mile drag race. So basically, even if he hadn't broke, the Impala would have won anyway. You know why I like this episode? It's because I had this queasy feeling about the prior episode where the Rotsun was all put together with its Turbo 5.0 and didn't break. The Rotsun is the car that never fails to fail, so we had to give it another opportunity, and sure enough, it broke the transmission in half. But what really makes me happy is that I had a chance to improve the Impala. Because honestly, we had butchered that thing together when we did the show with Mighty Car Mods and made them drive it. Now, it's a little bit less butchered, and it runs 1185 while pulling a little tiny wheelie on bone stock suspension and slicks. To me, that is a rockin' roadkill car, and we're gonna leave that thing sitting around. As we do with all of our cars, like the Rotsun, like the Impala, they always come back to race another day. And you'll see that on future episodes of Roadkill.
Nobody will love you the way I do, Rotsun.
Support companies that support Roadkill. Buy your speed parts at jegs.com.
You think they'll use any of this footage while we're talking and eating?
Sure, why not?
Uh-oh.
This
Coming in hot.
So does it have a blown head gasket?
No, I'm calling water down the carb from rain, intake valve open.
Okay.
It's probably okay.
Sure.
Yeah, let's go with that.
So unfortunately, I'm defeated and we need auto parts store for a distributor, I think. Unless they have one already removed, I'll ask them up front. But yeah, I found a great valence and bumper.
Is it valence or valence?
Valence. You say tomato, I say tomato.
Mm.
I can taste like the stank. Green shag carpet, ladies and gentlemen.
Dude, remember these?
Oh yeah. Wow, I'm surprised you remember those.
I just saw it on TV.
There was a time when oil actually came in a metal can, or like a hard cardboard can with a metal lid, and you would go boonk and shove this into the top of it to pour the oil in your engine.
Who wants to play baseball? It's just a lake of poo residue that he's standing in right there.
I don't want to get water in the gauges.
Yeah, right now the electrics work in this car. I know. As he aims directly at the fuse panel.
I've never pressure washed a steering wheel in my life.
Setting records once again on Roadkill.
But I feel good about it.
Look how good it looks shiny.
Oh, I know, the paint's much better. Maybe we can wash and wax it. Clear coating, that's what everyone says these days. Cooper Xeon RS3S, and it's got a 275/40 in the back, a 245/45/17 in the front. This is American Racing TR70R wheel, kind of like a torque thrust, but with a different cap. 17x8 with 4.5-inch back spacing in the front, and 17x9 with 5-inch back spacing in the rear. So we'll find out if that is the key to success or not. The other thing is you can fit bigger 17-inch wheels on the Mustang than you can 15s, because in the front, the control arm hits the wheel if it's a 15, but if it's a 17,
It sucks that it's raining, and it sucks that this hood is smashed shut because under here is a 14-inch chrome air cleaner. I need a pry bar or drive shaft. All right, it ain't pretty, but it might work. Whew. I have options. It's really cold. I may have assaulted a 66 Mustang to get this one.
and it's raining.
And it's raining. And then this one,
That's 5-liter Mustang stuff. Either that or it's off a Ford truck with a 5.0.
Fort Farr, our starter switch has proven not too reliable. So I'm gonna add a power wire from the battery into the car, because I don't trust the wiring in the car either. And then I'm gonna run a wire from the solenoid into the car, and we'll just touch them together movie car style and hot wire this thing every time we wanna start it.
Oh, look! There's like turds on fire. See the glowing embers?
Oh, it'll keep breathing it then.
It's like the weeds and stuff are on fire. So that was a pretty good first test drive. It gets all 3 gears. It stops even though the booster doesn't work, so it's a really heavy pedal. The power steering works, except for that it has a leak in one of the lines and pukes all the fluid out in the distance it took to go up this street, so now it doesn't have power steering anymore. I'm gonna say not overheating yet, although we can probably make that happen in the future. And the thing that stopped us was a giant cloud of smoke that came out of it when I stood on it. So that's either a piston ring deciding it's not so happy, or it's just simply all these weeds on fire on top of the manifold, which is my vote. Overall, really good. Thing we expected, because it smokes really, really bad, but it runs and drives. The transmission was my biggest worry, and it works. So I think now we gotta finish the cosmetic restoration, meaning installing the hood, then go thrash it some more and decide what's next. And by the way, these hood hinges, since I couldn't find any in this yard, they were like 25 miles away at a Mustang specialist guy's place. That one I think's already bent, pre-bent. Find out if they work.
Well, the hood's bent, so it should all line
It
up.
all adds up. Maybe it'll counteract itself.
Did you grease these already?
I did.
Because that looks like it wants to bend.
Yeah, see, these are both. This is exactly what's wrong with every Mustang hinge in the junkyard. These are also garbage.
Let's take the springs off. Let me hold this up, pry the spring off. I'm just gonna fling it my way.
Yeah.
Woo! Crisis avoided.
One of Ford's better ideas.
Well, the springs are Ford tough, the hinges are not. Ooh!
A little heavy now?
Done.
Perfect.
It's a race car now. Look at that.
Let's go thrash it.
pet till I dropped him and knocked some teeth out, and I felt guilty about it, so it became a hood ornament.
He's not right up here.
How can life be what you want it to be? You're frozen when your heart's not open. If I could melt your heart, we'd never be apart.
Watch Put Up or Shut Up, the newest show coming exclusively to Motor Trend On Demand, July 20th, hosted by me, Brian Lowe.
I can't believe we're finally alone. I can't believe I almost went home. What are the chances? Everyone's dancing and he's not with you. The universe must have divined us. What am I gonna do? Not grab your wrist. I could be a better boyfriend than him. I could do the shit that he never did. Up all night, I'm quit thinking I'm gonna steal you from him. I can be such a gentleman. Lost on my clothes we fit. I can be a better boyfriend. I don't need to tell you twice. All the ways I can't suffice. If I could give you some advice, I will leave with me tonight. The universe must have defined us. That is first, baby, I insist. I can be a better boyfriend than him. I can do the shit that he never did. Up all night, I've been quit thinking I'm gonna steal you from him. I can be such a gentleman. Price on my clothes will fit. I can be a better boyfriend than him. I can be a better boyfriend. I never would have left you alone. Here on your own, glued to your phone. Never would have left you alone. Someone else to take you home. I can be a better boyfriend than him. I can do the shit that he never